This is too low. Remind me later. Yo. What's going on, guys? I'm just trying to fix the gain here. All right, I think this is fine. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Let me know if the mic volume is good. It should be. I just turned it up, but if I need to turn it up more, I will. Or it might be too loud. I don't know. Tell me. It's good? Is it distorted? All good. All right. CPI is about to come in. The market has basically been consolidating since July, since the beginning of July in this range here. So I'll be curious to see what happens. Basically since the signing of the big, beautiful bill. Costa, don't start, bro.
For certain.
We're just seconds away right now from July CPI. Rick Santelli standing by at the CME in Chicago. Rick, we've got only a couple seconds before the numbers. What should we be looking at?
You know, I think the year-over-year numbers, especially the core, is going to be quite key, especially which side of 3% it's on. But do remember, much of the hoopla about the big bump in tariffs hasn't really materialized. Is it because consumers are pushing back, or we exaggerated? The data is in, and here we go. Consumer Price Index for the month of July. Headline number, as expected, up 0.2 exactly. Strip out food and energy, up 0.3 exactly as expected. Year-over-year numbers, 2.7, that's the headline. That's 1/10 cooler than we were expecting, but it equals the rear view mirror. 2.7, well, how does it compare? 2.8 was February, 3% was January. So we have been sliding. The low for the year in this metric, 2.3, that was in April. And here's what I was looking at, 3.1% on the year-over-year core. Definitely hotter than expected. It's hotter than the rear view mirror at 2.9. 3.1 would equal February. The high reading of the year was 3.3 in January, and that was the highest since May of last year. So if I look at the data on the month-over-month basis, exactly as expected. If I look at the year-over-year, obviously we got a little bit warm on the core. Now, we look at it sequentially. The headline number is 1/10 hotter than the 3/10s, and the 3/10s core is 1/10 hotter than last month, 2/10s. The only one that isn't hotter is the year-over-year, 2.7 equaling last month. But we do see that expectations were for a much warmer number. And since it didn't materialize, the market's looking at this and kind of looking past 3.1%. Yields are moving down a bit. So we've moved down a couple of basis points in a 10-year, hovering now at 424. And if you remember, early last week, for about 4 sessions after the jobs report, we were really consolidating in the low 420s. We've kind of jumped over a little bit, and we're now in the mid to upper 420s, but still, the market's very well behaved. And if you recall, the last several CPI, PPI pairings, once we get over the hump of the data, almost forgetting what it is, just the nervousness about what it may be always seems to give the market some pause on the other side. So, of course, tomorrow we'll have the PPI, but at this point, I would have expected the market would have been more sideways with the 3.1%, but it has moved down, which really does underscore the nervousness out there and how some of these surveys, whether it's business confidence or many of the other metrics that we use, University of Michigan and some of their inflation indices, with all the politics interceding in much of the economics of the markets, it certainly seems though those surveys were a bit out of whack.
We've been told so many times that it just hang on, it's coming, that there was some of that built in, some of the idea, okay, this is the time there's going to be some, because it was hotter. But obviously not as hot as what people were worried about. The market, the Dow was up 50 when the numbers came out. It's up 230 points or whatever. And then, as you said, yields didn't move up. It's not a huge move, but you can definitely see that a couple of basis points came off across the yield curve, right? So what people were thinking, this will finally be the time when we see it. We saw a little, but not that much. Does that summarize what happened?
Absolutely. No, if I look at all the metrics, as I said, we were hotter in the beginning of the year, even on the hottest read on that year-over-year core. What it tells me is that if you take it very simple, you summarize very accurately. There's been a push that things are going to get worse. You're going to look at a month that's going to be really scary. But most likely, if you look at the entire regime of the effects of tariffs and the uncertainty, we are definitely over the hump. And considering that this number isn't worse than expected, I would say moving forward that your interpretation is exactly correct. We're way over our skis, and what we're really finding is the last mile inflation is sticky, it was sticky, and really in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't break out as that the last 3 or 4 months are extraordinary in any fashion.
All right. Andrew's busy, actually. You got it. Focus on what you're doing.
Rick, no. Rick, I want to thank you.
Doing my
We got
app.
Leisman right here. He's also been crunching some numbers. Let's get your perspective on what you think is really happening here.
I mean, you have inflation from tariffs showing up in the data.
Right. Not as bad as people thought, I guess.
What is as bad as people thought?
I don't know.
What do you mean?
It's just the stock market is obviously went higher based on
higher, yeah, but
immediately.
But here's the thing. I don't want to rain on the parade here.
Well, you do quite frequently. Like, go ahead.
I don't think I do at all. Sometimes I'm the opposite. But you have places where you are specifically seeing it. I think the story here, and maybe this is what you're getting at, Joe, maybe we agree, is I'm not seeing it bleed over into other areas. Places where there are tariffs, there are price increases. Photographic equipment up 1.2% on the month. I'll read to the last several months. 3121 160. These are 1 month increases that used to be annual increases. Appliances actually gave back. It's interesting. It has not shown up in apparel. That's been fascinating to me. But let me just tell you, like furniture and bedding up 0.9%. Household furnishings up 0.7% after being up 1%. These are things that used to be up 1% in a year. So they are there. But what you have is, first of all, you have an offset in energy. That's been helpful.
All right, so CPI came in as expected month over month. Year over year came in 0.1% cooler, but the core CPI came in 0.1% hotter. So it basically, I think that it cancels each other out, to be honest, even though core is supposedly what the Fed focuses on more. In terms of what we're looking at on the chart, ES, which is the S&P 500, took yesterday's high, and NQ hasn't. So I want to see if that divergence maintains there between ES and NQ. If that divergence maintains, then I think that what happened here, this is all just manipulating to the upside. Right? So you have basically all of this consolidation and then manipulation to the upside. That right there is yesterday's high. So there's a couple of highs I'm looking at. Yesterday's high and July high. ES already took yesterday's high. I don't think today, ES will take July high. So I'm looking to see where there might be divergence. Okay, NQ did take yesterday's high just now. But the market doesn't even open for another another 50 minutes, 52 minutes. So if we manipulate it to the downside, which wouldn't make sense because all of the draws on liquidity are on the buy side level. But what I'm looking to see is, does this represent manipulation here? I think for sure there will be a move back down to take out 830 low. And I want to trade that if I can. So CPI data was at 830, which is this candle. So 830 low, obviously, on both ES and NQ, since we manipulated to the outside, to the upside. CPI data hasn't, CPI low hasn't been taken. So yesterday's high could be the draw before that, or I don't know if NQ goes for July 31st high. But for those just joining, CPI came in better than expected by 0.1%, and core CPI came in worse than expected by 0.1%. I can't trade Tesla, dude. The market is not open. The market is going to open in 50 minutes. So for now, I'm looking at futures. I also want to look at gold. Serrano, thank you so much for your donation, bro. Appreciate it. And Damien O'Farrell, thank you so much. That's a strong Irish name. Yeah, so once the market opens, dude, I will look at stocks. So that yellow line right there is where I think NQ is going. That's the July high, which also represents the all-time high, by the way. So I think that NQ can get there. I'm going to put an alert here because I think NQ gets here, but I don't think ES does it. What's going on with stocks pre-market? I mean, they're basically, most of the mega caps are up by the same degree that the market is. Man, HIMS is gonna, I think HIMS will drop to below 40, maybe even below 30. Their CEO sold, I don't know how many millions worth of shares yesterday, but it was the biggest insider sale ever. Salesforce is such a dud. This might even go lower. Look at this humongous head and shoulders here on Salesforce. This might trade back in the low hundreds. I wonder if what Salesforce does can easily be done with AI. If the bond market is red, depends what you mean by the bond market. Do you mean yields or the bond market prices? Because they move inverse. So I have no idea what you mean. I think whoa, the dollar could not hold this move here. We broke out of this long-term trend line. Retested. I mean, it could still break out from here because it's still in this fair value gap. But we even broke structure. But I wonder if it fails this and heads lower back to the 2021 lows when the dollar dropped to basically 90. Any thoughts? Dude, you need more coffee ASAP. Motherfucker, it's 5 in the morning here. Chill out. This guy says, oh, you look tired. All right, bro. Your mom wore me out. That's why I'm tired. It's not easy dealing with a 300-pounder. I wonder if there's a short here back to 830. But I really want to take this high, though. Like we did take yesterday's high. That could be enough of an interim draw. Right? Because I do think there's a short down to 830 on NQ. ES2. Like I do think that I don't know. I think that NQ, maybe we'll take it later. They both took yesterday's high. So that could be enough of a draw to take it down to 830. Let me see what the risk to reward is here. And we do have a 2-minute CISD right there. I might take this. Just because I really like the RR. I do think that I do think there's a chance NQ gets up to that yellow line, but we already took out yesterday's high. Two-minute CISD. And the risk to reward here is like 6.5 to 1. And 2 to 1 will be right there. I like the risk to reward here. So that right there is 2 to 1. And I like ES's setup better than NQ. Because it gave us the IFVG. This is definitely not an A+ trade, but I like the risk to reward here. And I do think we are going to come down and test at 830. It's just a matter of, does NQ want to take that all-time high or not? Inflation is fake? What does that mean? Yeah. NQ has a similar setup. So I wonder if this can initiate a drop here. After taking out yesterday's high. Like I said, the RR is too good here. We're dealing with a 6.5 to 1 trade. I hope it doesn't chop around here. Yeah, I mean, we are in a macro. We're in the 850 macro. Market doesn't open for a while. Do you think pre-market trading is too risky? I think every trading is risky. It's just a matter of do I want to wait until NQ takes all-time high. I want to see a flush from here. But there is that risk for sure. You know what? It could be from this 5-minute too. I wonder if we dig into this 5-minute and go up and then reverse it at the 950 macro, which is probably more likely. I wonder if I should get out at minus 0.5 R here. I think that is probably more likely. I think it's more likely that what happens is we bounce off of this 5-minute to that all-time high and then reverse at 950. That's my thesis. So I might get out at 0.5 R here, 0.25 R, somewhere in between. Let's see. Especially if we close above that fair value gap. We're back near break even. Yeah, I'm closing this at break even. I think what's likely here. So we did an IO Fed on the 5-minute fair value gap. I think since all-time high is right there, and I could be right on this trade, but I think that I would much rather NQ take that all-time high first. Before a drop, but I do think that eventually this is where we're going. I do think eventually this is where we're going. So what I want to see here is what I think will happen here is NQ might continue up to take all-time high. This market is unbreakable. I'm not happy. You would be happy if you had a portfolio. I'm certainly happy. The portfolio is hitting all-time high after all-time high every day. Yeah, I have an alert on NQ here to see if it tags that first. Why is Tesla up? Because of momentum, bro. Let's look at Tesla real quick, because yesterday it failed to break out of the pennant. But if we get a close today, I think that a retest will take that 367. Took a 6.5 handle win. Hell yeah. Good job. Yeah, I think Tesla can push to 367, these equal highs here, and eventually 400. I wonder if I wonder if it drops from here. Or do we go for all-time high? It looks weak, but all-time high is right there. Gold is in a daily fair value gap. And if the dollar rejects from here, and starts heading lower, I think gold can be a long from here. We have equal highs right there too. Yeah, a lot of manipulative moves here pre-market. If you look at Google, you look at Tesla. I would not be surprised by the market if it turned over. But I think it would be suboptimal if it turned over before hitting all-time high. Two to one would have been right there on ES. Hindsight was good at least for a 2-to-1 trade, but my target was 830 low. Market opens in 27 minutes. Gold looks like a mess here, but I think there is a move to take out these highs. One second, guys. I'll be right back. 1 second. I'm just going to get another cup of coffee. 1 second. And we'll go over some stocks in 27 minutes. 1 second. All right. Damn, man. Would have had that 2-1 on ES for sure. The risk to reward was too good. I should have stayed in. So pre-market, I want to see what I want to trade here. Yeah, in hindsight, that was a great trade. I don't know. I don't know if this is the move that can take us all the way down to 830. It seems like it. I thought it was a bit suboptimal with NQ not taking that high. Would you say it has become more manipulated since COVID? The market? No. I think you're thinking of manipulation incorrectly. When I say this is manipulation, I don't mean that someone is pulling the strings to push the price up. Manipulation is just a product of liquidity. It's not manipulation in the sense that you're thinking. Right? Like manipulation can come in many different forms. Insiders can dump stocks, or there can be insider trading, or that's not the type of manipulation I'm talking about. I mean price manipulation. The word itself has a shady meaning, but that's not what I mean. I mean when you have consolidation and you have manipulation to the upside, this is all engineering liquidity, buy-side liquidity to go short. Fuck, that was a great trade. I can't take it from here. Up here was such a good risk to reward. I should have stayed in there. CoreWeave reports earnings tonight as it broke out 3 gap ups in a row. 9%, 7%, 8%. It doesn't have enough history. It's only reported earnings once, but I do like this company. I would love if it just gave us a muted move on earnings. But there's a lot of hype around this company, so I'm not sure. I really wish we took that high. Fuck, I would have taken that 10 contract short. God damn it. Market opens in 18 minutes. So what I'm looking at pre-market here, guys, a lot of this looks like power of 3, right? If you look at Netflix, consolidation, manipulation. If you look at, I mean, ASML just looks bullish here. But if you look at AMD, consolidation, manipulation. If you look at Google, where is Google? Right? Consolidation, manipulation. So I want to see if, and this follows the overall market, right? This follows the overall market. I do think that, like I said, I do think 830 is going to get smoked. I would have much rather traded it after NQ taking that. I wonder. Cam, you're correct, bro. We didn't get it on futures, but if you take a look at QQQ versus SPY pre-market, and by the way, pre-market doesn't count. So like if you look at the daily, it's not going to show up. Whatever happened pre-market is not going to show up. But by the way, QQQ and SPY still have divergence. So QQQ is on the left, SPY is on the right. No, ASML is not short term, dude. ASML is a long term hold. When does the market open? Oh my God, bro. You are cooked. Apologies. Apologies for being the one to tell you, bro. But you are cooked. What the hell do you mean, when does the market open? Plus, if you don't know, fine. 2 fucking second Google search. If you can't even put in that much work, you are cooked, bro. I'm telling you right now, close your brokerage account. Just put your money in the S&P 500 and log out, bro. And I'm being 100% serious. Not because you didn't know something, but you can't even take 1 second to look up when the market opens. MP3 Fitness. Thank you, brother, for your donation. Man, see, I should have stayed in that motherfucking trade. I cannot short it here because there's still a chance that we are now in this 15-minute fair value gap coming up on market open. Thoughts on Disney? Thoughts and players. Average retail investor? No, come on, man. The average retail investor knows how to do a Google search. What time does the market open? What is the S&P 500? What is an ETF? Like, this is your typical search history. This motherfucker don't even want to find out when the market opens. Can't even look at a clock. Thoughts on BMNR. Thoughts and players. Guys, I don't have thoughts on stocks, all right? I don't have general thoughts. Ask me a better question. Man, I'm really wondering how some of this Power 3 gets worked out here. Some of these manipulative moves at the open. What I really hope happens is well, let me reserve judgment until the market opens. But I think we get some decent trades today. Thoughts on MTG tweet? What is MTG? Marjorie Taylor Greene? What did she tweet? When will the bubble burst? Probably 1 to 2 years. What did she tweet? You mean about foreign lobbying? Yeah, based. The fuck? Is that what you're talking about? I don't know. Post the exact words and I'll tell you. But if it's about the one where she's saying no to foreign lobbying, yeah, of course. Anonymous, appreciate your donation. Please check A&F. No. Perception on CoreWeave, where Microsoft holds the biggest percentage as a client. Yes, Microsoft is CoreWeave's biggest client. That's how growth companies start. You start with one big client and you hope to get 2, and you hope that 2 turns into 4. But OpenAI is a client, Microsoft is a client, Nvidia is a partner. I think they have their own niche for sure in bare metal servers. The question is, can they keep growing at this pace? Because their growth is insane. So, man, I should have stayed in that trade. Fuck. So if you look at their growth, I posted this in the investing channel yesterday, but they went from 3.7 mil to 160 mil to 1.4 billion to 2 billion in revenue. That's 4 years straight. Adobe is not my favorite type of stock. No, not right now. I don't like Adobe. I think that people that are wanting to buy Adobe, it's the same thing as United Healthcare or Novo. They're just like, oh, I see a cheap stock, I want to buy it and I'm going to get rich. They're not even thinking about the implications here of Adobe. Adobe, in my opinion, is cooked. It was a great company. Profit margins insane. Stock buybacks, the works, right? But think of how many people now, especially younger people, are inclined to use Photoshop and Illustrator versus use AI tools, right? And if you want, like for the consumer, the AI tools are much less complicated than Photoshop and Illustrator. And for the pros, you have, and Canva as well, which is a competitor. And for the pros, you have Figma. I think the document cloud-based system is not, there's too much competition there from DocuSign, from PandaDoc, from Microsoft. It's not my type of company, bro. Like when I invest in companies, I need to invest in something that is a monopoly or a near monopoly in this space, right? Or a second runner up like AMD, where because Nvidia cannot print or cannot produce the desired number of chips, if AMD is seen as that second player, they can come in and take some of that market share, especially if it's a young company, right? As I said, that you have a better chance of doubling your money on AMD than Nvidia, and it more than doubled since April. But Adobe is way too much competition for my liking. Like, I think you can make money on it as a trade, but would you be comfortable buying Adobe now and not looking at it for 10 years, knowing how AI is going to change the landscape? I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't. So I think Adobe is tradable. I don't think for me it's a viable company. I don't. I think there's way too much competition. Long UVixie versus buying a call option, bro. You can easily put that in ChatGPT. What are the pros and cons? I don't know why people want to trade UVix and UVixie. That these are leveraged ETFs, meaning if you don't get the move you want on the VIX, you're fucked. No faith in IPOs. I don't even know what that means. Why is my trading view frozen? Because you watch too much porn. So stop that ASAP. It's bad for your brain. Close all of your tabs. Matter of fact, close your computer, throw it in the trash, and go buy another one. Your computer's probably way too infected. Start clean. Mizzo, good morning. Wang Alex, that cannot be your real name. If it is, it's pretty dope that you put the Wang first. Although I guess in China, they do put the last name first. I think a lot of people don't know Yao Ming's last name was Yao. Any of you Mandarin speakers, correct me if I'm wrong. But last name goes first, I think. Market opens in 4 minutes. What do you recommend for trading through TradingView? I don't know what that means, bro. Sorry. All right, so what I want to see at the open, honestly, I would much rather see us move up to take that high first. Did you listen to the new Clips album? Yeah. I think it's good. I don't think it's as amazing as people are hyping it up to be. But I think it's good. It's not even my favorite Clips album, I'll be honest. Actually, that's including all the Pusha T solo albums. I think Pusha T's solo album was better than the Clips album, his last solo album, his last couple. I think that people are just so tired of shitty music, in hip hop at least, that anything new that doesn't sound mumbly is like, whoa, this is the greatest album ever. But it's good. It's good. It wasn't like amazing to me, but I still listen to it in the gym. Middle name is Grumpy? Me? Bro. Your mother's middle name is Frumpy. I'd rather be Grumpy than Frumpy. Regine, what's going on? If next CPI data goes over 3% right before FOMC, market is going to bleed so much. Bro, the market doesn't have a habit of just bleeding, okay? People that are like wanting to see the market bleed is because they didn't get in on any of this shit. The market will have a correction because the markets typically have 1 to 3 corrections a year of 10%. And it averages, I think, 5 pullbacks of at least 5% a year. So this will happen. But you hoping for the market bleeding like no tomorrow, bro, a bear market happens once every 5 years. So to continuously hope for a bear market is, sorry to say, utterly retarded. Pusha T Daytona. Yeah, Daytona was a fucking great album, bro. All right, market opens in 1 minute. And I want to see if some of these stocks end up losing their shit. I want to take a short from here, I'll be honest. UVixie average price at 18.5. How cooked am I? Yeah, if you're in UVixie, you're cooked. You guys should not be touching UVixie, especially if you have no idea how to trade the VIX. It's a leveraged ETF, bro. Yeah, this is going to be tricky here at market open because we do have bullish divergence between NQ and ES so far at the open, and we did retrace to, if you look at this fib here, we did retrace to 0.5 of the move. And I think there's a chance to still target the actual dole of the day. But it's going to be tricky here. No, I'm not taking the short yet. I actually don't, like I said, I don't think that this is a surefire short. Now that we retrace to 0.5, I think the long to all-time high is more likely. I think we go there. 23,845 on NQ. Uh-huh. This is the type of what I was talking about. Manipulation, the consolidation, manipulation pre-market. Yeah, I think we'll find a nice trade today. We are seeing quite a bit of movement at market open. Very different to no news yesterday. We could get a short on Tesla. I mean, I want Apple to go as high as possible. It's my biggest holding, and it has been for freaking 10 years. So we didn't technically take pre-market high on Tesla, which I would have much rather seen to take it short. Otherwise, this just looks like a power of 3 to go higher. Yeah, this is why I didn't short. I still think NQ's getting there. Let's see if we can catch this. I think NQ's getting there, and then I think 830 will get taken out. And it might leave behind bearish divergence with ES. Might. CRM looks like a short. CRM, I don't have high hopes for that company. In terms of a short-term move, I don't think that the options are that liquid. You might have to just stick to trading monthly expiries on CRM. I want to see if AMD can close below this hourly fair value gap. We do have shorts on AMD already, but those are swing trades. Is there a 2-to-1 here? That would have been a 2-to-1. Interesting pattern here on Palantir. I wonder if there's a short here. We bounced off of 930, but we took pre-market high. We took yesterday's PM high as well. I wonder if there's a short to get down to like that 181. You can't short this here, though. It's bouncing off 930, right? It has to close below this. What the hell is going on with Nvidia? $8.30. China demands companies to halt Nvidia chip orders over security concerns. Ah, interesting. Yeah, I think that right there is the draw on liquidity. I have an alert set there, but I think Amazon can be a short here. I'm down 1.5% on AMD. Do I cut my trade? Bro, you shouldn't be trading at all. You need to be paper trading at this stage. What do you mean you're down 1.5%? Oof. God damn it. Yeah, if you're asking a question like that, man, you're not, in my opinion, you're not ready to trade. Also, you're probably mixing up trading and investing, which every noob does. Every noob wants to invest like a trader, and they have no idea how to trade. I don't know. This makes this interesting. This has to be a Trump tweet. This what happened just now has to be a Trump tweet. But we took out these equal lows on ES, and Q left them intact. But this has to be a Trump tweet. Damn. I think that Trump tweet gave us a little bit of liquidity. Because I still think unless we break below this and close below it, I still think this might be a long. Trump says, too late. Powell must now lower the rate. Steve Mnuchin really gave me a beauty when he pushed this loser. Oh my God. The damage he has done by always being too late is incalculable. Wow. I still think NQ goes for that all-time high. Amazing. Why did he I wonder why he spelled Mnuchin's name like this. Steve Mnuchin? What the fuck? This dude's on crack. I don't know why he spelled Steve Mnuchin's name like this. Fortunately, the economy is so good that we've blown through Powell and the complacent board. I am, though, considering allowing a major lawsuit against Powell to proceed because of the horrible and grossly incompetent job he has done in managing the construction of the Fed buildings. $3 billion for a job that should have seen a $50 million fix-up. Not good. Okay, now that we broke below that, that's interesting. I would have, yeah. Thankfully, I didn't take a long there. Oof, this is going to be a tough market. Okay, I guess that tweet is going to take us down to 8:30 now. Let's see if we get this Palantir short. Holy balls. So Palantir is jumping off of 930. I wonder if it gets rejected in this IFEG here. Let me look at the options on Palantir. So August 15th puts is what I'm looking at. I think Palantir can trade down to 182. Yeah, I need to monitor the indices closely now because that 830 low is obviously going to happen now because of that Trump tweet. It's going to happen now rather than take out all-time high and then take it out. So that 830 low on NQ is right there. So I think there's a chance NQ takes it and ES doesn't. In which case ES will be stronger, but NQ has a draw up there. I don't know. Is that enough? Taking out yesterday's high? This is where trading at all-time highs gets a bit tricky. Yeah, I think a retest of 930 on Palantir might take us down to, I think it's a pretty low risk trade too. Might take us down to 182-ish. But you don't even need to get to all the way down there. This still is a 4-to-1 trade here. I'm looking at the 185 puts. expiring tomorrow. If we get up here, I'm gonna set an alert here too, so I don't miss it. Come on, take out 8:30, bro. Fuck. I think that short on Palantir is gonna work out for sure. Even though it did give me a retracement. I wonder if AMD is affected by that chip news on Nvidia. Like I said, we have shorts on AMD that we bought, I don't know, 4 or 5 days ago. Basically, after that earnings drop on the retrace, I got shorts on AMD. Fuck me, bro. You keep saying taking out 8:30. If you're talking about NQ, I assume you're meaning 6:30. What the hell is 6:30? No, bro, 8:30. I'd never heard of 6:30. Oh, you think I'm talking about price? No, 8:30, as in the time 8:30 a.m. where CPI was reported. That's the data low, 8:30. AMD, good long-term investment. Yeah, bro, you're super early to the party. Very early. All in here. What's the time period you're shorting AMD for? Weeks. Anonymous, appreciate your donation to St. Jude's. Man. Oh. Why do you wear sunglasses indoors? Because your mom sat on my face and gave me a rash. First of all, these are not sunglasses. They're tinted blue light lenses. Secondly, there's like there's three huge lights in front of me. And I woke up at 5 a.m. to do this. So don't be an ungrateful bitch. Hell yeah. Oh, that AMD short's gonna print. It's up 20% today. Just today. All right, well. Great call on Palantir, man. Fuck me. God damn it. What a read. God damn it. Okay. Well, that was a great read on both. As suspected, ES didn't take out 830. I think eventually it will. Fuck, that was such a good read on Palantir, man. You cocksucker. Let's see if we can find another one, guys. There are some strong stocks today. Ooh, I wonder if Intel gets a short here. I think that news with Trump, the fact that the Intel CEO met with Trump, I think that that's just hype. We might get a sell the news effect here. The Russell is still super green. So it took out its 830. The Dow didn't take out its 830. What in the Dow is moving right now? Okay. All the banks are up. Boeing, United Healthcare, Home Depot, Microsoft, Apple. All the oil stocks as well. Yeah, the Dow's doing pretty well. Mainly the banks. Goldman Sachs is up 2.5%. Interesting. I wonder if we get a long now. Look at these ugly ass hourly candles. All right, let's see if we can find another. That Palantir read was oof, fire. What are the main fundamentals used to oh my god, bro, I can't give you a investing course right now. I'm trying to trade. You can easily pop that into ChatGPT and give yourself a starting point. But valuation, cash flow, income growth, revenue growth. Do I like the business? Is the business a monopoly? Is it growing into its valuations? I jumped in on Big Bear AI. Oof, what a drop here. Okay, awesome. Hopefully you're thinking about taking profit soon. Jesus Christ, look at this How's anybody trading gold today? Yep, this is not what you want to see from Tesla. I bet you everyone tried to trade this breakout and are getting penalized for it here. There is a potentially low risk swing trade. So you have this volume imbalance here. Who do you think has a monopoly of streaming services? Nobody. Streaming is a saturated market. But the leader in that group is YouTube or Netflix. Not every industry has a monopoly, dude. Like, look at athletic wear. That's one of the worst industries, in my opinion. Between Nike, Lululemon, Alu, Athleta, Adidas, Under Armour, it's just a fucking terrible business, in my opinion. I think there's a swing trade on Tesla here. I might send this out in the Discord. Hold on. Let me see something. I think this might be a decent swing trade. To 367. Is there a short from here? Or are we going to all-time high? So we took data low. I wonder if there's a short from here. Is there a short from here? I really like the risk to reward on this. Beautiful rejection here. 2-1 is right there. I don't want to see a bounce from here. do not want to see this. Yeah, that wick likely means we're going higher. Can't catch a break today. Should I break even this here? Risk to reward is really good. It's risking a little over 300 to make 2,400, I think. Yeah. This is a bit messy. This is a bit messy, that's for sure. I might take this at break even. Take it off here near break even. I think this goes higher. Especially because we bounced off of the 1 hour here with bullish divergence. Damn, missed out on Palantir. The OG short on ES was good. Yeah, that Palantir short, I mean, that hit right at our TP too. I wonder if we get a long on gold now that we took out last Monday's low in this fair value gap. The Tesla swing trade, if I take it, I'll put it in the Discord. Sell off over, now back up. Dude, it's crazy that you could be involved in the market for so long and not know that every single day the market is sweeping liquidity. Every single day. Buy side, sell side, buy side, sell side. There's definitely bearish divergence here on NQ. I wonder if we get a CISD here. Is CoreWeave worth looking at today? What does that mean? Also, it reports earnings today. Hmm. All right, let's see if I can catch this here. I'm going to set an alert here because we'll have a CISD. There might be, if we close below that, I think that there's a short setup. 1 second, I'll be right back. All right. That was the original short on Palantir. It could still work, by the way, but all right. Market has decided to chill for a second. We have a macro coming up in 10 minutes. Fucking horrible price action, bro. I wonder if there's a short on YM. It's one of the only ones that didn't take the 830 low. RTY did. NQ did. Palantir dumping again. Yeah, that was a nice setup, honestly. But I missed the initial one. And it traded all the way back up to 930, gave us the retrace. I don't know that. The thing is, I don't know that Palantir can dump to back down to where we were. Like, I think this is just a technical rejection. Just a technical rejection off of 930. There is a fair value gap there, obviously. But I don't know that this is enough to push it back all the way down, right? Like, I think that it can hover here for a bit. It's unfortunate because Palantir was definitely an A+ trade in the morning. And I closed my ES short for break even though it ended up playing 2-1. So kind of I don't want to say messy, but definitely somewhat of a, I don't know, a morning in which the right reads were made, but execution wasn't there for one reason or another. I wonder if we get another dump on NQ. We have a macro coming up in 4 minutes. Yeah, with Palantir, I don't know that it hasn't, because it took a lot of sell side already. So I don't know that it has enough to take it all the way back down, as opposed to just a retracement down to like half of the move, which is where we're at. Price is kind of stalling out here. And I'm hoping that we get some movement soon. Do we have more news today? Are you trading CoreWeave today? No. We just have a bunch of Fed members talking today. And we don't have anything till Thursday PPI. You can hear that? Yeah, bro. So I wonder if ES takes out. I mean, I think ES takes out that high, but I wonder if NQ leaves it behind, giving us some bearish divergence. Do you have advice for trading CPI? I just started trading and this was my first CPI. Yeah. If you just started, don't trade CPI. You're not going to understand the back and forth continuous taking of liquidity. I think you're wrong to look for shorts when monthly PO3 is distributing higher. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I think you can look for shorts and longs in the same day. So how is that wrong? And if you caught the stream from earlier, short was the right call after CPI to take it down to 830. My initial draw on liquidity from the outset is NQ July high. This right here. That right there. But it also doesn't have to hit it today since both NQ and ES took out the previous day high. But eventually, I think that's the draw on liquidity. I think that's pretty clear that the July high on NQ and or ES is going to get taken. Yeah, I think Palantir in the morning was an A+ trade for sure. I don't know if there's anything A+ to trade, no. Yeah, now we have bearish divergence here between NQ and ES. Okay, this is interesting. Market will end red today. I honestly think that that is definitely possible. So we have a little PO3 here too. But I can't trade this without confirmation. I need at least a CISD here or something. $1.4 million Tesla calls coming in. That means absolutely nothing. You should learn how to read flow if you're going to quote flow. That means absolutely nothing. 1.4 million is nothing. You have to look at a particular strike price, and you want to make sure that the volume is higher than the open interest, and you also want to make sure that most of those calls were bought at the ask. Saying, just arbitrarily saying 1.4 million coming in on Tesla. You know how so far how many dollars were traded on Tesla? 500 million. So what is 1.4 million? Over 500 million dollars in Tesla options were traded so far, and it's only 11 o'clock. So instead of quoting these arbitrary flow numbers, having no idea what that means, just that the number sounds big to you, show me a particular strike and expiration where the volume is much greater than the open interest, and all of those were at the ask. That's how you read flow, not these random numbers that don't mean anything. I don't see anything in particular on Tesla in terms of unusual flow. Yeah, I think we get better price action in the PM. But I want to see if NQ or ES go for the all-time high. Right there. What an atrocious day, bro. Let's see. Is there a way to take a long from here? You don't use options flow data? Yes, this is options flow data. I'm saying you can't just say 1 million in calls coming in. That's bullish. You have to look at the exact strike and expiration. What is the premium? Is the volume greater than the open interest? Are they bought at the ask or at the bid? These things matter, right? Just saying, oh, this much came in on calls means nothing. So yes, I look at options flow data as a potential additional confluence. But one, it's not the basis of my trades, and two, I think people do it incorrectly. That's all-time high right there. Do we get there? $350 to make 1,300. Let's see if we get tagged in on this. Oh, we didn't even close that 5-minute fair value gap yet. We got 2 minutes left. But it's definitely a 3-minute. The thing is, NQ is a lot closer to all-time high. What an ugly day, bro. Do both ES and NQ get there? 1 hour. Yeah, this is like longing in a premium. While NQ is right there. So I don't think that it's a certainty that ES goes for that if NQ takes it out right now. There might not be that much juice left for an optimal long. The thing is, like, these moves are big, or the moves that have been made already are big, so that there is potential here. For a trade. Tesla is coming up on a 1 hour FEG. I cannot believe I haven't really taken a trade today. No, there's no trade on Tesla. Not a short. Yeah, see, NQ here going for that all-time high. I don't know that ES, because NQ is going to get there way before ES, this trade is suboptimal in my opinion. I wonder if this Could we sweep all-time high in NQ and leave behind bearish divergence? Yes. This is why I think that even if ES does get up there, it's suboptimal because that is exactly what could happen. Like NQ is going to take the July high, which we just took. So that makes it like trying to long in a premium makes it a very shady situation. Even though ES could get there, but there's a very high likelihood that we get SMT divergence. Thinking to short SPY 640 puts expiration tomorrow. Based on what, bro? Damn. Dell's been a fucking powerhouse. All right. I don't know. I don't know that if I'm going to take another trade before lunch, which is in 40 minutes. I think I'm going to wait until the PM session. I think YM looks like it might be stalling here. Not looking to short the indices. YM would be the only one that I might consider, depending on if we get confirmation. I do think that there is a Tesla swing play. All right, guys. Yeah, I'm probably gonna wait until the PM session to take another trade. We had some pretty awesome reads today. Unfortunately, didn't squeeze out much from it, but that's how trading goes. I still think that we might get quite a nice opportunity in the PM session. Looking forward to CoreWeave earnings tonight. For those of you in the Discord, I'll see you in the chat in a couple minutes.